Today's lecture is about the implementation of the nodal incident matrices. First of all, we will see what are the nodal incident matrices. So the nodal incident matrices are basically used for modeling the electrical networks. If a network consists of the nodes and the branches, we can translate this network into the form of the matrix, and the number of rows and the columns are actually determined from the number of nodes and the branches present within a network. The purpose of translating the nodal incident electrical network into the nodal incident matrix is to study the different characteristics associated with an electrical network, or if we want to solve a complex electrical network through the computer system, then first of all we are supposed to convert that network into the nodal incident matrix. Here the matrix that we obtain as a nodal incident matrix consists of the three types of entries: 1, 0 or -1. If a branch leaves a particular node, then we mark it as +1. If a branch enters a node, we mark it as -1, and if a branch doesn't connect a node, then we mark it as 0. So it can be seen over here how I have constructed a nodal incident matrix for a given network. As we can see, there are three nodes, node 1, 2 and 3, and they are written as vertically, while three branches 1, 2, 3 have been written horizontally. Now starting from the node 1 and with the branch 1, as it can be seen, the branch 1 doesn't connect the node 1, so the entry is equal to 0. Then at node 1, leaving at node 1, we can see that the branch 2 is actually entering the node, that's why it has been marked as -1. Similarly, the branch 3 is also entering the node 1, so it has been marked as -1. Same is the case for the node 2. If we look at the node 2, we can see that the branch 1 is actually leaving, so we have marked it as +1. Branch 2 is not connecting at the node 2, so it's marked as 0, and the branch 3 is actually leaving the node 2, that's why it has been marked as +1. So same is the procedure we can adopt for another network modeling. You can see over here, this is a little bit complex network, so the matrix that we will be obtaining will be of higher order. So we have 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And similarly, how many branches are here? So total 6 branches are present over here. Then it can be seen easily at node 1, branch 1 is actually leaving, so +1. Similarly, at node 2, branch 2 is also leaving, so it has been marked as +1. Branch 3 is entering, it has been marked as -1. Branch 4 is leaving, it is +1. Branch 5 is also leaving, it is +1, and branch 6 is actually not connected with the node 1, so no connection is present between them, that's why it has been marked as 0. The same procedure can be adopted for determining the rest of the entries. Now let's consider an example where we have a nodal incident matrix and we want to reconstruct our network. So as we know from the previous lecture or from the previous slides, you can see the number of nodes are actually marked vertically while the number of branches are marked horizontally. So there are 5 nodes and 5 branches, and I have written those nodes and branches randomly. The next task is to construct the branches between the nodes, and the procedure is to construct a branch between the nodes where the entries have been marked as 1. So we can see the first branch is actually between the node 1 and node 4. As you can see in the network, the first branch is between node 1 and node 4, and it has been marked as 1. Similarly, the second branch is between the node 2 and 3 because these two nodes are having 1 and -1. So second branch is actually between node 2 and node 3. And same is the case, I have designed or mentioned the branches between the particular nodes. The next step is to determine or define the directions of arrows. So we can see at node 1, the branch 1 is leaving because it has been marked as positive. So I will draw it as like this. Similarly, in the Second case, the third branch is at node 1 is entering. So the third branch at node 1 is entering. So that's why I will draw it like that. Similarly, we could only determine a direction of two branches from the given information. The next step is the second branch, that is about the second branch at node 2 is leaving. So the second branch at node 2 is leaving. So I will draw arrow of leaving. Similarly, the fifth branch at node 2 is entering. So I will draw the direction like that. Similarly, the second branch at the node 2 is leaving. So I will draw it like that. The second branch, I had to determine the direction correctly. So the second branch at the node 2 is actually leaving. It has already been mentioned. Now what we are left with, we are to determine the direction of the branch 4. So let's go to the branch 4 directly. So the branch 4 at the node 4 is leaving. All right. So branch 4 at the node 4 is leaving. The direction has been mentioned correctly. So in this way, the direction of all the branches have been determined. The rest of the entries can be used for checking the accuracy of the directions we mentioned using the previous information. One thing is to notice that if a branch exists between two nodes, so the one entry will be marked as 1 and the second will be marked as -1, which means at one node branch is entering while at the other node the branch is leaving. So same is the case with the rest of the entries. I hope you understood the idea.